Hello, Jason here. This is your aftermarket update for September 23rd, 2016. So before we go into the setup and the trade of the day video, which is about 40 minutes long here today, I want to go through just kind of talk about what was happening this week and what we saw on the chart. So what you're looking at here right now is just, this is a 30-minute chart going back to Monday. So one of the things that we always talk about in here is that the high or low of the week is made on a Monday or Tuesday, and that was indeed the case here again this week. This is Monday. Here's the low of the week right here on a Tuesday, and you can see that we did have a rally going into the week. So again, what started out as a promising week in terms of bullish price action was really negated back here towards the end of the week. We'll talk about that. So on Tuesday at 3:30 p.m. Central Time, the API report was released with an expected 7.8 million barrel drawdown versus a 2.8 million barrel build that was expected. Again, that shot the market up. And then as you had the EIA report, there was also a greater than expected drawdown. In fact, there was a build, again, another 2.8 million barrel build that was expected. And there was a 6.2 million barrel drawdown. So the market rallied pretty aggressively up into that. This bar right here that you see was the interest rate decision by the FOMC on the FOMC meeting. After that, that was the rate decision. Market falls, and then of course you've got the OPEC meetings coming up here over the weekend in Algeria. So here, this big spike, almost 100 ticks right here, was rumors that the Saudi Arabia would be willing to implement a production freeze. And then you had the big sell-off when Saudi Arabia ended up denying that there would be a production freeze, and you ended up having this big sell-off here to the downside. So it was in this area right here that we were able to catch our trade of the day, and let's talk about how we got set up into it. So if you take a look here, this is basically a 5-minute chart, and you can see that we did quite a bit of chopping around. In fact, we were in a long up here from, I believe it was 01. We had gotten in long off of, we'll turn on the market maker level here for just a moment. We had a daily structure mid down here, right around this 46.00 area. We ended up getting long up in here. I took a stop out initially on the morning. In fact, my stop was at 89, and we came down to, my stop was at, I believe my stop was originally at 89 on an entry of 01, and I was taken out. My stop here was 91, so I ended up getting taken out on this little pushback. But we were looking at this. Then we had this rally up to 35, and we were able to take a few ticks off of this. One of the things, though, that we talked about as we were going up into this area here is you had a line here right around this 24, 25 area. In fact, if you moved it up one tick right there, you could see that we, even though we had this long spike, we only had one bar that closed above 25, right? So as the market begins to come down, we come back down into our structure mid, and then the market begins to kind of rotate and then ends up rallying, okay? So that's an important thing to note, this line of resistance right here. So one of the things that we look at here on a daily basis is there is what we call the 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. swing zone. So I'm going to turn on the time zones here. And so you'll notice at the top we have what we call the New York opening range, and then, of course, you have the swing zone from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. What we look for is that there is a move on most days that occurs somewhere in this 1 hour window, that begins in this 1 hour window. And so a 1 hour window to try to find a trade setup is not the easiest thing to do, right? So what you start to look for are clues as to direction. And here was a pretty decent clue that this could be the sell-off. You had this one long spike up. You had a nice reversal candle right after that. And then, of course, the market begins to sell off, and we came from the high up here at 35 all the way down here to the 46.01. Once the market began to rally back up, we were talking about this resistance point up here at 25. And so the secondary way to get in, if you missed this entry up here at 35, if you did not have a way to get in up here at 35, then the secondary way to get into this is a fib retracement level. So we pull these fibs out of this, inside this time zone, from here down to here, and we begin to look for, we have a sweet spot, of course, up here at at 25, and then the 61.8 is up here at 22. So as the market rallied up into this 22 area, we pick up the short at 46. We were looking to get in at 19, ended up getting in at 18. So once we saw this happen, then I was looking to get out and get started rather on the short right around the 46.18. Now, if you turn on these secondary levels here, settlement today was up here at 32. And so I placed my stop on what is generally a little bit taller stop than I like to use. It was 15 ticks. I got in at 18, and I put my stop 1 tick above settlement. And the reason for that is you can see just how strong that resistance level at settlement was today. Even though you popped up over here once and then again up here to 35 twice, there was really no bar that closed above settlement up here. So could you have gone a little bit higher on the swing point and gone to 36, an 18-tick stop? Absolutely. But again, prior to this move that I'll show you here in just a moment, there was really a fairly choppy type of existence on the day here. So again, being a little bit unsure, we put it just 1 tick above settlement, and that's where you'll pick up the video trade of the day. But again, the 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. swing zone was where we identified the potential move that was going to be occurring. You had a nice 2-bar reversal pattern here, long wick up, then a nice red bar. Came down into the London range, the London range high and the Asian range high just ahead of your structure mid underneath you. And let's turn off the secondary level so you can get a clear picture of this. So just ahead of that structure mid that had been playing and acting as support for most of the morning. And then you got this pullback up into the fib level here, which is the secondary way to get into the 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. swing zone. And then, of course, the market moves to the downside. So what we were targeting down here is this daily structure signal at 45.55. So we're in at 18 looking to target 55. And actually what I did is I moved it up to 58 to see if I couldn't get in 50, see if we could get the target there at 58. Now, what you're going to see me do is I actually take it off around the 68 area, somewhere just pretty close in that area, and here's why. If you turn on, we'll turn off the structure signal, we'll turn on the revision signals. Now, these market maker levels, if you're not familiar with them, they are time and price-based cycles. So the revision signals form at these different areas on the chart, and you can see up here revision 1, revision 2, revision 3. And so we had a level down here, the revision target at 68. And so what I said to the group is that we were going to, if we started to pause around this 68, then I was going to go ahead and take it out. So that would have been a 50-tick move. Otherwise, we would have been looking for a 60-tick move. Now, again, that is what we were looking at. We came here into the revision mid again at 10, and we bounced up, and then we get in at 18. And that's where the trade of the day video picks up, is there at 18. So let's turn these revision signals off for a moment, turn the structure back on. And we were looking for this target down here. So the market, it begins to move, and then, of course, you could see that it comes down and down and down, and then, of course, we had the big sell-off through that level. What I do, though, on the video is I actually get out a little bit ahead of that at that 68. What you can't see here on this 5-minute chart is you had several wiggles and waggles around on the 1-minute chart right around this zone. And then, of course, the market begins this big break to the downside. And then we come down to the structure extension and rotate around towards the end of the day. So if you turn on, we'll turn these off, and we'll turn the revisions back on. And we'll also turn the bigger picture market structure. So let's turn off these levels, and you can see that we came down into our market structure extension 1. And these are the bigger picture levels here. So you can see how we rotated around it here, rallied, came back down into the market structure extension 1, and then rallied there as well. So again, these are your market maker levels, providing you information on how to get into or out of, so entries and potential targets for those ideas as well. So again, that was the rationale behind getting into this OTG trade of the day. You had the 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. swing zone. The secondary way to get into it was this zone right up here around the, like we talked about, right around that 18 area is where I ended up getting in. And then, of course, the market sells off very aggressively all the way into the close yesterday on that news that Saudi Arabia was not going to be participating in a production freeze. It didn't look like. So we'll see what happens here as we continue to make our way through it. One interesting note here on where the market stopped. One more interesting note on where the market stopped on the day. We'll come back over here and let me show you this. And so this will be an interesting area to be watching for as we go into next week. I just completed the analysis for the week here on the website. And if you come down here, so this is your 60-minute chart. So if you measured this swing, we also had that retracement level, the bigger picture retracement level, excuse me. We had the bigger picture retracement level on the 60-minute chart right up in this area. This was the spike up. And then you had this sell-off. And then the next targeting area, this was the sell-off, came all the way down if you measured this swing low up to this high here. Then you had that push all the way down into the 61.8% retracement level. So just interesting how your fib levels provide you with excellent support and resistance and also targets. So I'm going to let you watch the OTG trade of the day. It's about 40 minutes long, and I will talk to you on the other side. So without further ado, here is the OTG trade of the day. I'm in at 18 here. Okay, I'm in at 18. The stop is, oh crap, I just took one off on accident. Okay, stop here is one tick above settlement at 33. So again, let me show you what I'm talking about here. Let's turn off all these market maker levels here. Okay. So we'll turn on the time zones. Okay. So right there inside the 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. swing zone, this looks like the bar. This is a reversal formation here that we look for. That went from 35 down to 01. Okay. Then we've rallied back up. And so the secondary way to get in the 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. swing zone is right here. And so we got up to 22, 23. We've had resistance up here before. That's what this blue line is that I drew on the chart. Right, is the resistance at 24. Right? And so if the secondary way to get in it is there, then you'd be looking to target 80 to 100 ticks out of that area, which would be, so if this was the swing high, let's see, 80 to 100 ticks would be about right here. Okay, that's not right. That gave me clicked me into the wrong spot. Well, you get the idea. It would be down around 55. Would be 80 to 100 ticks. And so, again, we can try to draw this one more time. So if you go here, it's not catching up. All right, Ninja's not behaving properly. The point is that puts you right down inside. That puts you down for a target at your daily structure signal down here. So 46.35 minus 45.54 is that 80 to 100 tick that you get inside of this blue zone. So Ninja's not really cooperating at the moment, but that's okay. So if you take a look here at these zones, okay, yesterday was a little bit choppy, but right at the top of that zone, you had that big reversal, 52 down to 10. There was a 42 tick move in that zone. That was a little bit choppy yesterday. Come back here to this previous. we came up to the daily structure target 49 and then rolled out all the way down to 74. That's about 70 ticks. The day before that, the zone right here, big bar down, a little bit of a reversal formation right there at your structure signal, 43.24 to 44.39. There was 100 plus ticks there. So again, this is the area, and again, you're still, from a structural standpoint today, right? If you take this, that's why I'm just giving you the reasons why I'm looking short in this area here. Okay, if you just take a look at that, right? You had a little bit of a pop up through it. You got a nice trend to the downside here. Right? You got a little bit of a descending triangle. You could measure it out there. You could bring this down a little bit. Anyway, the point is, structurally we're okay. We came up into that retracement point. We also have this area that's been resistance all morning, with the exception of that one rally through it, just really quick, spiked through it. It failed. Well, we'll see. We'll see here if we could come back. I'd like to be able to come back to 10. The other reason I like being up short at this level up here is that you've got some wiggle room between here and that 10. If Casey wants to just kind of rotate back and forth around 10, you have some additional wiggle room. $15 minutes till the bottom of the hour. 15 minutes to the bottom of the hour. $104 long at 17 now. Point of control at 15. There's 1918. All right, 45 seconds till the next 15-minute bar, 15 minutes here. If we are still doing it like this, 1918, just rotational 2 or 3 ticks at a time here at the bottom of the hour, then I'm going to get out. I'm going to be done, and I'm going to get out and be done for the day. So again, 15 is point of control. We're rotation around 17, 16. Double bottom here on the 5 minute at 17. $16, you got limit orders long, you got longs at 15 as well. There's 15, that's the point of control. We got to get through that 13, 12, 11. There's 14, 13. Come on. That needs to be the, there's 13, 12, now 11, 10. Let's go. There's 10. Get through it. Break there we go. That's it. Bring that trail stop down here to break even. That's your 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. swing zone. We're targeting down to the 50s. Got to stay underneath it here. We just hit down to 04. 299 hit the bid at 03. All right, we got to get down through that 03. Looking down through. There's 876. Let's go 543. We're looking down to 55 here as a potential target. If we can break underneath 00, all heck can break loose here. There's 05, 04. There's 03. There we go. All right, so bring the trail stop down to 10. There we go. Come on, get through it. Looking to get to the daily structure target. Sorry, the signal on the other side down there around the 55 area. We're going to ebb and flow here a little bit around this 00. Okay, so we got down to 96. We may ebb and flow back and forth here. Bring this trail stop right now to 13. And you've got the European session close in about 10 and a half minutes. We got down to 96. We had 110 hit the bid. Oh, come on. I'm going to bring this back right now just till the European session close. I'm going to bring this back above the point of control at 17 on the stop. It's either going to go here or it's not. We may come back and test 10. This is part of the ebbs and flows. There's 0302. We got to get back underneath the 00 And of course, the structure signal down here today is at 55. The revision signal's at 88. The new revision signal's at 88 underneath. So we may run into support down at that level. So again, we'll see what happens here. See if we can get this thing to sell off the way that we want it to. We came right down to the MS mid on the ES and rebounded just a little bit. 10 minutes to the bottom of the hour. Need this thing to hustle through it here. Need to stay below 10. $121 long at 06. Back to the ETH session price here. At 07. Man, the volume just quickly filled right. The dam broke, but it was quickly refilled right back up again with longs underneath. So again, some more 127 long at 03. 7.5 minutes to the bottom of the hour. Need to get that excited push again. These are just the ebbs, again, like we talked about. These are just the ebbs and flows around a 0-0 level, right? Down around 0-0, got to push through it, test it, and then go back down and test it again. Also, you're around that ETH session open price, and that provides lots of activity as well, support, resistance around it. So again, remember on the way up when we were long from 01, 03 was the resistance. Now it is support. And you can see it right here, right? You had a triple top right there at 03, and now it's providing support. $130 long at 03. There's 05, 04. There, good. 2100. Now flush it out. We got to get underneath that 96. So again, I'm looking to target down there somewhere around 55 here. I'm looking to target down there around 50, 55. We'll see if we can do it. There's 97. We got to get underneath 96. You've got a bottom down there at 96. European session close coming up here in just a minute. In about 6.5 minutes. There's 93, 92. Remember, I said 89 is a possible stopping point or pause point. You've got 150 long at 90. So there's 90. Get through 90, 89. Come on, drive through 90. There we go. 89, 88. Looking to target 54, 55. There's 90, 89. 88. We said 89 could be a pause point. It is pausing a little bit. You've got liquidity underneath you here. Down to 85, 86. Bring this trail stop to 03 now. So 18 to 03 is 15 ticks. We were pausing at 89. That's what we talked about. 103 long at 90, 123 at 87, 152 at 86. Looking to try to hang on here. So again, the 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. swing zone, 80 ticks, would give you the target down there at the structure signal, which is what we've been talking about the target being all along here. And we need to stay in this. Okay, bring this trail stop back up here to 08 for now. And this thing may have to come back and check 10. I hope not. But I may need to move that stop back behind 10. Remember, the ETH session price is like 07. I told you 89, it may pause. I did not want it to pause this hard, this far back. So why I said that is if you turn on the overnight market structure levels, you see the MS mid right there at 89. Now that should only keep it in check for a little bit. We should be able to continue that down, but we'll see. 89 was it. Bring this trail stop back to 13 here. I'm going to give this some space as we're looking for that target, and we should be getting some energy here into the close. Now, if that rallies way hard off of that level, then there's not much I can do about it. That I knew that I was expecting that to pause there. Okay, I was expecting it to pause there, and I expect this to go back and test it. You've got liquidity at 87, 86 underneath. There's 95, 94. Come on. 93, 92. Let's go. There's 93. Get underneath it. Keep pushing back here. So again, the daily structure signal. There's 95, 94. Let's go. 93. 92 as we get into the close. Bring the trail stop back to 03 for now. 91. Come on, 90, 89. Let's go. Targeting 55, 54. 120 long at 87. 124 long at 86. Come on, 94, 93. Fight your way underneath here. Bring the trail stop. Just, we'll see here. There's 94, 93. Come on, get underneath it here. Let's go. Push through it. Bring this trail stop back to 08 for now. I'm going to let this thing try to coast into the close here and see if we can't pick up that energy into the close. Stay underneath it. European session close in 2.5 minutes. 101 long at 96. We break 96, I think we'll be in good shape. If we break 96. There's 96. There's 95. Good. Now we got to get through 94 to 93. Come on, 95, 94. All right, you've got about 1.5 minutes left here. I'm bringing this trail stop to 13, and it's either going to go or it isn't, and I'm trying to hang on. These are just the ebbs and flows back and forth here. We've got to get back underneath 93, 92. We couldn't get through 94. Double bottom on the 1 minute at 94. And there's 96 providing support again. Less than 1 minute here till they close. Or right at 1 minute. Get through 94 now. Good. Come on. You were right there. Get through 94 to 93. There it is. 92, 91, 90. You've got liquidity at 90. There's 91. Come on. Break down through 90 to 89, 88. We've got to get... All right. Bring this trail stop down to 03 again. There's 88, 87. We've got to get... You've got liquidity at 87, 86. If we get through that... Get down through 86, 85. We're looking deeper here. Come on. Lots of orders. You had 400 on the offer come back against you at 88. I told you 89 could pause. I wasn't expecting it to be that resilient, though. 87, 86. Bring this trail stop down to 98. There we go. 83, 82, 82, 81. There's 79. Bring this trail stop back to 93. And then maybe back up to 98. We got the 70. underneath you there. We found some support at 78. 55 is your target down here. 55 is the target. Trail stop is at the present is at 93, although I may go back to 98 on that. You are through the European session close now. Finding some support down here. These are the ebbs and flows trying to reach a target. 55 is the target underneath. All right, 98 is the trail stop for now. Come on, 88, 87. Don't stall out here. All right, come on, pick up the pace back down here. Some volume underneath. You got 141 at 00. If I'm at 98, I might as well be up at 0102, something like that. But I'm not moving it yet. 128 long at 85. There's 86. Get through 85, 84. Well, we're touching into 85. We're trying to sell through it. $84, $83. Ooh, 78 is a lot of volume down there at 78. Love to go test that. Love to be able to go test that. Daily structure signal is at 56, 55. I might make this target 58 and even 60 ticks at 58. Some volume at 83. So we're looking to push down underneath. You need a bar to close here on the 5-minute at 83 or lower. You got volume at 83, 82, 80, and 78. So you do have some volume picking up underneath you here. So you... All right, don't pause. Let's just keep the drive alive here. 86, 85. Man, it took some pressure. It took quite a bit of volume to get through 85 on this push down to 78. And again, the longs are trying to backfill it in here at 85. $58 is your target. Okay, rotate underneath. Need to stay underneath this market structure. Let's turn the revisions back on here. Yeah, you got the revision signal here as well. So again, volume stacking up underneath. You could do either one, but so you could do revision target down there. That is absolutely legitimate, Greg, and it's a good question. So Greg's question is, why not this revision target down here? Well, so let me do it this way. Here's my rationale behind it. We're going to turn these off and turn those off for now. So we went structure mid, could not quite make it to the structure signal up above us there at 44. We got to within 9 ticks. And so what that says to me, based on the way these levels work, is that we would be looking for a move down to the structure signal. Also, based upon the fact that this is the 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. swing zone candle, right? 100 ticks is the target out of the top of this move, which is 35, which would put us down here around 35. So that should give us plenty of room to make it down to the structure signal. But we could very well pause at the revision target like we are pausing here. All of these market maker levels are going to give you a little bit of pause. So we're paused here around this 88, 89 structure mid, but my expectation level is that we come all the way down to that zone. Now, the only caveat to that is if you measure this to here, right, 77, we got the 78. The daily 70.5 right now is down here at 77. So that could be another issue that I'm certain that's why we stopped at 78, right? I'm certain that that's why we paused at 78 and got the rally that we have out of that. So, but remember, those 70.5s will give you at least 10 ticks. And, well, we've gotten 10 ticks now. And now we need to go back down and challenge it again. What I'm likely to do is if we get down to 77, 78 and can't get through it, I'm likely to start bringing this down and tightening it up. So hopefully that makes sense. That was a long-winded way to answer a short question. 115 long at 85. You've got 106 at 82, 113 at 80, 98 at 78, and then 114 at 75. So, again, that whole area around that 70.5 retracement zone is providing ample support. So, you've got nice volume all the way up here trying to keep the lid on it. I'm expecting this thing to sell off into the top of the hour. That would be an expectation level here. And here's another reason why somewhere 98 to 00 would be a good stop, is this bar that took over on the shorts, this heavy volume bar that took over here, started at 95. Right? But you had some really heavy volume back here at 06, 07 as well. You had 198 now have hit the bid at 86. So that retracement zone, 85, 86 here, is really sturdy, right? 198 hit the bid right there at 86. So buyers are pulling it out. That's what that minus 18. So if we could come back down and check it, you've got buyers pulling away. If we can come back down and check 86, 85, that would be good. There's 89, 88. You've got liquidity at 86. And the market structure mid here also, we said this thing could pause at 89 and on the way down, and that's exactly what it's doing here. There's just pause and rotation around it. 84 is the lower edge of the value area. Awesome. Thank you very much. That explains that. We just dipped our toe into 85 and then immediately rejected out of it. So, again, it is what it is right now. 15-minute bar, you'd like to close below the prior close, the bar's prior close at 85. So 84 or lower on the next 15-minute bar, and I think we can get a continuation here. Really want to see this thing start breaking down underneath hard here aggressively. So you've got to get through those orders at 85. So 1042. I'm expecting this to sell off into the top of the hour. Although you've got a bit of a rally going on the ES at the moment. So we can break, if we break 85, That will clear out that volume that's been stuck, that's stuck there at 86. That will clear out that volume that's at 86, 85, and should give us a clear path down to test that 78 again. You've had big volume hit at 86. You've had 370 at 86. And the buyers are following this back up here at 90.89. So we need that break back underneath. So I'm torn here about pulling this back up over 46. I don't want to pull it too far over 46. I don't want to give too much back. So I'm just kind of torn here. I'm thinking I'm leaving it. I just want this thing to finish this process of moving down here like it's going to. So I am going to bring this back to 04 on the trail stop. That's the last touch. One thing I want to do here is on your price action bars, I'm going to turn the gap bars on. So you really don't have anything much in the way of a gap bar here, right? Gaps get filled, right? And these gap bars get filled as well, but we did fill this back up to 09 here. So we don't have a gap bar underneath us. So gaps get filled, meaning that these bars that are blue in color, they represent the gap. They represent a gap between this bar close and this bar open. If this bar wasn't there, that would be a gap. So this gap bar, these gaps end up getting filled, right? These gaps end up getting filled. And so there's no gap bar here to get filled, which is good. There's no gap bar here to be filled, which I was curious to see where the gap was that might needed to get filled. Generally speaking, it'll come back to 50% or greater of that particular of the gap bar, and in this case it was about 50%, right? If you measure this down here to here, it was 50%. So we'll see. Big volume above you here. And we need to get down underneath 90, then 86, 85. $91. Get underneath 90, 89. Let's go back and test that 86. So you've got volume above you and volume below you. Been down as deep as 78. All right, looking for this to go into the top of the hour and begin to sell off here into the top of the hour. 100 long at 89. Now 107 long at 90, so that's following it up here. So we break through 86, 85, I think we'll be in reasonably good shape. You need a bar to close underneath 85, 84 or lower. $108 short, long rather, 108 long at 90. Big band of liquidity there at 90 right now. And then the volume at 86, 85, not too bad. Come on, break 90 to 89. Let's get through that 90. There's a touch of 90. Okay, buyers pulling their orders off at 90. That's good. Let's fill it up here. There's 90 again. $30 left on this bar. We tagged into 90. 113 long at 90. Orders at 78. Oh, good. Yeah, cool. Well, that's a good sign. So we'll see. Still holding on down there. we get down to that revision target that Greg had mentioned earlier. We get down to that revision target at 68, and it starts to rotate and pause like it is here at the market structure mid, then I'm going to pull the ripcord and get out. So I'm just letting you know there. I'm going to let it try to come down and test it, but if it gets down to that area and then wants to just dink around, I'm not going to be long for it. I'm not going to stay around very long. This is enough heat right here on a good trade that I don't really want to put up with more down there around that revision target at 68. So, and that's only 10 ticks from home, so it's not that massive of like here it's 30 ticks from home. It's worth trying to get to, but if we get down to 68 and it pauses, that's only 10 ticks away from the target, so that won't be necessarily worth it. Although if it gets down there, it would be nice. But so again, you've got to get through 86, 85 down here. Looking for this thing to move into my target right before the top of the next hour. So that's the market structure mid again at 89. There we go. There we go. All right. There's down through 76, 75. There's 74, 73. Bring the trail stop down to 80, 87, 88. All right. Let's go. Finish it up here. Bring this trail stop up to 93. 93 on the trail stop. We got down to 60, 71. Quicker than I could move it. 71. All right. So, again, you've got volume down there around 70. There's 70, 69, 68. Take, let's see, 69, 68. There's 71, 72. Trail stop 58. Bring this, trail stop here now 83. There's 69, 68. Bring the trail stop here to 78. 78 on the trail stop. Trying to get to that target. We hit that revision target that Greg was talking about. There's 68 right there, and we're starting to pause, pulling it off. Okay, I'm out. All right, so again, in retrospect, we would have held on to that trade a lot further, but there was really no indication that it was going to continue to go that deep, and it ended up being a really nice trade of the day. But you got to put a target somewhere, and our initial risk reward was 4-1. And that was a good risk-reward ratio given our structure signal down below. Ended up taking it off at ended up taking it off at 50 ticks, so at about 3.5 to 1 instead of that 4 to 1. So again, ended up being a really nice trade. So as always, I want to say thank you for spending the time watching the videos here at the Oil Trading Group. And until next time, I want to wish you good luck and good trading.